If you've seen any of my videos before, you've heard me say there are no hacks or shortcuts left in SEO except for this one. This tactic has helped me get returns like this, and this on the same day. In this video, I'm going to cover exactly what that hack is and how you can execute it on your website. Let's get into it. The hack that I'm going to talk about in today's video is simply taking another page on another website and 301 redirecting it into a page or into your website. Now, this is not a new concept. 301 redirects have been around forever. We all know that they pass 100% of equity from one page to another. But this has been refreshed in my mind because this past year I was at a conference with Brian Dean and we were talking and he was telling me about how he just purchased an entire blog called Point Blank SEO from John Cooper. It's a blog that's all about SEO and link building, picked up a lot of traffic, a lot of links over the past 8 years, and he really wanted to take that and push all that equity into his site, backlinko.com. I reached out to him for a comment and he basically told me that yes, it worked and yes, it was worth the money that he spent for it. And again, 100% of the goal behind that acquisition was simply to take that site and merge it into his, to pick up the authority and to transfer those keyword rankings that John had on his blog into Brian's.
Quick, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post weekly content only for my subscribers, like links to my private Slack channel, office hours, and free access to marketing templates and tools. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell.
Kind of mulling around in the back of my mind while I was doing some competitive research about 8 months ago to build some new content for our training website, theblueprint.training. And as I was doing some competitive research, I came across a blog post that I read through and thought, this is perfect. This is the exact page that I want. I don't really want to have to rewrite this. He's also ranking #1 for all the keywords that I wanted, which was Moz versus Ahrefs versus SEMrush. Those type of keywords for me and where our training site was at was the perfect point in the funnel that we wanted to capture people and funnel them into our website. So as opposed to going out and rewriting the blog post myself and trying to build links to it, I just sent the guy an email and I asked him point blank if it would be open to selling me that page on his website. This is the pitch. Let me run you through it. It says, hey Carmine, just came across your blog post on Ahrefs versus SEMrush versus Moz. Really great stuff. Do you write for other people? I'd love to chat about all the marketing content we need written. Also, this is kind of a weird question, but would you be open to selling an existing post you've already written? For example, the article I just referenced is the exact article I need for our website. Wanted to float an idea out there to see if I could literally buy this off of you so I could republish it on our website and have you 301 redirect the article into ours. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks. He accepted, he sold me the post, and this is the results that we got from that redirect. You can see the keyword rankings picked up right away, and now almost 8 to 12 months later, the post is still ranking on the top of the SERPs and still driving a ton of valuable traffic to us. And the level of effort for me to not have to write the article or to build links to it or to do any optimizations, to literally just take something that was already working, pay for it, transfer it to mine, it's a no-brainer. However, I do need to preface this strategy because this is not a strategy for beginners. This is not easy to execute. Not every website is going to be willing to sell you their website or even just a page on their website. And it's also very expensive. So this is something that if you're in the M&A space, if you're looking to acquire something, instead of going out and buying an entire business, you might be able to go out and leverage these tactics that I'm going to talk about throughout this video. So make sure you stick around to the end so I can give you all the case studies and all the examples so you know the different nuances for how to apply this to your website and if it's a good fit for you. Let's quickly talk about why this tactic works so well. Because it is literally the only tactic out there that you can execute and get organic traffic that same day or that same week. There's literally nothing out there anymore that will allow you to do this. So if we take that same concept of a link passing trust, authority, and equity, and then look at that from the light of a 301 redirect, a link is impermanent, right? It's flimsy. It can be removed at any time. The page could be broken and that endorsement goes away. But a 301 redirect is permanent. Somebody is literally going into their website, the core of their website, and telling Google that this page or this entire website has moved entirely to the other website, meaning that website wants to transfer all of its equity, its links, its engagement, its keyword rankings, and pass it on to another website. In my opinion, there's nothing higher of a trust signal or an endorsement than that, literally taking something and pushing the entire thing into another website. And as I said, Google reps have come out and said that 301 redirects pass 100% of equity from one website to another. So again, that's basically like telling Google, hey, this page on my website belongs to that other website, I want you to count everything that we have here that we've worked so hard for and pass it to that other business. Again, when it comes to a link, we're just endorsing it with a little piece of HTML, but that HTML can be removed at any time. But that 3-1 redirect is a permanent redirect. So it's telling Google that the other website owns that page, owns that content, and then again, all the SEO equity that comes with it as well. So again, this is a concept that we've used multiple times. Again, I've already cited Brian Dean's case study of how he's using this at massive scale, acquiring blogs and passing all that equity over. We've done it for specific blog posts where we've gone out like that Moz versus Ahrefs and actually paid for just that page to be redirected into mine. We've also done it across our own portfolio of websites. We have a blog post about SEO proposals that was ranking really well on our agency website, but why would we need to be ranking for a post about SEO proposals if we're trying to sell contracts to clients? But our training website that works with agencies, that content works much better there. So we took that content, reformatted a little bit, reposted it on the Blueprint training website, and then took that SEO proposal website from webburst.org, redirected over to blueprint.training, and again, the rankings passed over immediately. And then also the relevancy of that post on the Blueprint has helped it to continuously perform very well and continuously drive traffic and leads to that business. Another example of this in practice is we had a page on our website, webburst.org, that was ranking number 1 for legal SEO, attorney SEO, lawyer SEO, some very, very, very competitive and lucrative keywords if you as an agency or consultant wanted to work with attorneys and law firms to provide them SEO services. We as an agency do not work with lawyers. It's just outside of our wheelhouse. So we just had this page on our website that was ranking really well, more of a feather in our hat, kind of like, look, we can rank for competitive keywords type thing, but really didn't have too much business value to us. So I actually went out and reached out to a couple colleagues to see if they would be interested in purchasing that blog post from us and then redirecting it to them. And they did. I sold it to Chris Dreyer. He's with Rankings.io and Esquire Marketing. They work solely with attorneys, so it was a perfect fit for him. He purchased that post off of us. I redirected it to one of his websites, and you can see it pass over the rankings and equity right away. And it's now driving a lot of traffic and leads to their business because they can actually work with those type of clients. So you can see there's a number of different ways that we've done this, both looking at people in the industry who have done this with great success, like Brian Dean, using it for our own portfolio of websites, migrating pages from one of our websites to another website where it's more relevant, going out and purchasing pages from bloggers, redirecting that to us, and then also getting rid of the cruft on our website that doesn't have value to us, but has value to somebody else, and redirecting that outwards. So you can see, no matter what, this works very well in practice, and every example that I've showed you has shown you how keyword rankings will literally pass over as soon as Google realizes that redirect, which is usually within a week. So if you're interested in pushing this into practice, there's really 2 ways that you can get this to work. Number 1 is to just go out and buy an entire domain and redirect the entire thing at a 1-to-1 level. 1-to-1 meaning mapping out every page on their website, crosswalking with every page on your website, and figuring out what the best destination for their pages into yours will look like, and then setting up 3-to-1 redirects at a 1-to-1 level. This is going to ensure that all the equity is passed over, and then also all the keyword rankings, if relevant, will pass over to your pages as well. This is a total power move. If you can afford to do it, do it. It's way more effective than link building. It's also way safer than link building. Google's going to see a redirect as much more sign of a trust and authority than just using links from websites that may or may not be great for you. This is also the most straightforward option. There's constantly websites that are on sale, especially now during COVID. A lot of businesses are just kind of liquidating assets. You can definitely go out and get a good deal on buying an entire domain. Now, I work with a lot of companies that will buy other domains as a business strategy to acquire those companies, but the website is always the most undervalued asset. A lot of times companies will acquire another company, again, for their processes, for their people, for their product, whatever it may be, and then just kind of let that website die, when realistically that website is a massively valuable asset that, when treated properly and understood, will have an incredibly massively positive impact on your search performance. Option number 2 is to go out and buy a specific page on another website and then redirect it into yours, just like I did with the Moz, Ahrefs, and SEMrush post. This is far more complicated, it's a far more difficult pitch, and there's also far fewer opportunities. With that being said, let's talk about how you can actually do this in practice with these 2 options. So if you're going to buy a website, you can go out and look at auction websites. There's DomCop, Spamzilla, Hammerhead domains, but realistically, this is the weakest form of strategy because it requires a ton of additional research to make sure that the domain is clean, it's relevant, and it's impactful. You know, a lot of times when a domain goes up for auction, it's because that business has expired or because the domain just doesn't have any value. So a lot of times those domains don't have the existing link profile. They're not going to have the existing keyword rankings because the domain was dropped. So you're losing a lot of the equity when you're going after expired domains to try and pick them up and redirect them. Again, you also have to be very careful because if you pick up a domain that has a spammy history and you redirect that into your website, then that's going to cause other problems and probably even have an inverse effect. As opposed to pushing authority, it might be pushing spam, which is exactly the opposite of what we're trying to accomplish here. So what you want to focus on is buying struggling businesses, acquiring competitors, or businesses that are on the sale block. There's a ton of ways that you can go out and do this. You can look on a website like Flippa. There's constantly businesses that are for sale online. Just keep your eye out for that. Or just doing some outreach to businesses that you know or you have colleagues with, or just networking through the space. Again, you don't want to just send an email to a competitor being like, hey, I want to buy you. But you do have to go out of your way to be a little bit aggressive, do your research, and understand which companies may be for sale, which ones might not be. And again, there's a ton of online platforms that will help you source these as well. So if you've got the budget, $50,000 to $100,000 laying around that you're going to earmark towards link building or SEO, I might suggest looking into acquisitions instead, because I'm showing you the data. It will have a massive impact on your business if you can do so. So the final method is to just manually search keywords and then send pitches to sites who might be interested. The key here is that you have to be looking for bloggers, not businesses in this case. So the two previous ones, I was talking about acquiring businesses. So the pitch that we're sending them is not, hey, I want to buy your website, or that you want to buy a page on your website like I did. You're actually going after the entire acquisition of the business, or just the website. You can leave the business out of it if you will. But this tactic, and the one that I deployed, was looking for specific pages that mapped to the specific needs of our website at a keyword level, and then making an offer for that. So again, you can't go to a business and offer to buy a page on their website. It's just weird. But a blogger, somebody who makes their money off advertising or content writing or promotions, things like that, they're going to be much more receptive to a pitch to buy a piece of content. Because again, the guy that I bought the Moz vs. Ahrefs post off of, he's a content writer. So he writes content for other companies. So he had a post that he wrote. I was basically just saying, like, you already wrote this. I'll pay you a premium for having already written it and having it be done. I just want to buy this off of you. And for context, I paid $650 for that post. Very, very cheap and far more effective than any sort of link building tactic out there. Literally just buying and transplanting that page and that value onto my website. I don't think you'll get them for that cheap. It was a very lucky swing and a home run for us on that one. But again, we want to be focused on bloggers. Anyone who is selling time or advertising space on their websites, they're going to be much more receptive to an offer. They're also going to require a little bit more explanation, because this is something that's way out of the ordinary, and nobody's really out there sending them pitches to buy a page on their website and then 3-1 redirect it. They might not even know what a 3-1 redirect is. So just be prepared to have a much more in-depth conversation. Maybe send them a quick screen share video or having a Zoom call with them to know that you're a trustworthy person. And again, to kind of work out the details. And you're probably also going to need to sign a contract that says, after I pay this for you, after I pay you for this post, that 3-1 redirect is going to be permanent and it's going to stay there. And then you're probably going to want to set up some sort of manual check or automated check to just make sure that that 3-1 redirect stays up, so the equity keeps continue passing over to your website. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you've got a good amount of budget allocated for SEO or link building, I would definitely look into pushing down this route, because you're just going to get much quicker results and the impact is going to be massive, not just from a search point of view, but just the overall authority and ranking power of your domain. If you guys need any help with this, we do offer this as a service to our agency, Web vs. Clients. Just hit the link below, schedule time to chat, and we'd love to talk more about your business and how we can help. As always, guys, if you like this video, please leave me a comment, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.